Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades, and welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I'm of course Jimmy, and we are proudly sponsored as always by Action Coach Sheffield. I was not expecting, oh look at this by the way, if you want your Art of Football shirt exclusively from the Ramble, does say a little bit about Bramall Lane on the back as well. Lovely bit of kit, there's a discount code if you want to use that in the description. But I wasn't planning on rambling today. I'm away with the family, as you can see. I'm not at Ramble HQ. We're away in Filey for the weekend and having a lovely time. I did see, however, something online yesterday from a Leeds channel that I have to address. I could not address it. It hits harder for me with it being Leeds, and a lot of you know this anyway, but so my dad's family is from Sheffield, that's why I'm a Blade. But when he was 11, they moved from Attercliffe over to Ossett near Wakefield, and that's why we're Blades. So we've come from Sheffield. So all through school, all my mates are Leeds fans. And now I'm in the world of work, all my mates at work are Leeds fans. Because it's a one club city, they think they're the bee's knees. And honestly, I've talked about it before on the channel, they wind me up. I can't, and to be fair, maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe that's what this video was all about. Maybe that's what it was done to rile us. And if so, it certainly worked on me. I have to give you a bit of background as well. So obviously that's why Leeds annoy me. That's why I'm a Blade. I'm sort of out on my ear in West Yorkshire. There's not many of us that are Sheffield United round here as opposed to Leeds. I really started dipping my toe into YouTube content in the 18-19 season. Obviously we all loved that season, and the majority of it was because we were in such a strong race with Leeds United to go up. And I think it was in Norwich, but I can't honestly remember. During my time of sort of trying to grab as much content as I could about Sheffield United, I also wanted to be able to have a little bit of ammunition for my Leeds mate. They would have terrible results. I think they threw a result away at Wigan. Wigan had 10 men and they beat them 2-0, something like that. They lost at Brentford. All these little things along the way. And I used to watch, only if they'd done badly, by the way, but I used to watch a Leeds channel called All Leeds TV, I think it was called at the time. And on All Leeds TV was Conor McGilligan and Joe Wayman. Now, they have since gone their own direction. They're still very good pals and they still collaborate with each other, but they've got their own channels now. So Joe was the really emotional one in terms of really gets into it. He's so passionate and he shouts and he screams. You might have seen him, he's the Just Joe football show. Very good content. I don't watch it when Leeds are doing well, but I love to watch it when they're not. And then Connor, who's more pragmatic is a word he likes, but he's more reasoned. Probably some would argue a bit negative at times, but I would probably say realistic. Because, but then they're all, and I'm gonna sweeping statement it, because Leeds fans in general are so deluded. They think they're the absolute bee's knees. They think the size of the club is top 10 Premier League, and the media seem to buy into that and push that narrative as well. But they love all this. Everybody hates Leeds. So I've been a big fan of Connor and Joe for some time. Connor's channel is the One Leeds Fan channel, and this is the channel I'm going to talk about today. And I've spoken to Connor previously, and if he wants to come back at me with his own, that's absolutely fine, because this is not meant to be disrespectful in any way. But Connor put out a video, which were a bit out of character, I thought. And look, we're all very proud of our clubs. You can't come for the king, and I don't mean me, I mean Chrissy Wilder, and not expect. You come for the bull, you get the horns, I think is the saying, something like that. I'm going to splice in bits of his video, and I'll take you through it. I'll take you through how ridiculous it is. Basically, it's having a pop at Chris Wilder for the Hamer, Pirro, Bogle, merry-go-round that we were on during transfer window. So Connor starts off, well, you can see it for yourself.
Hamface, he's back again. Now, look, if you haven't heard this, strap yourselves in, get yourself a sandwich, get 2 big ham slices, whack them in between the bread, cut out 2 eyes and a big sad face, put a bit of pickle on it, a bit of mayo over it, and chomp on this, everybody. This is your pastime.
Right, this is where he goes into the ham face bit, and for those of you that aren't aware, it leads back to this picture. So I get it, ha ha ha. It's I don't not see the humour in that. Obviously, I'm sure Chris Wilder doesn't see the humour in it, but fair enough. Ham face is what is known as in these quarters, apparently.
Chris Wilder, Joel Peru. Now, we don't get the insights, do we? We don't. The club is a closed shop.
First bit of an admission there. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what happened. We don't know any of the information, inside information. The club is a closed shop. So we're going to go on to talk about an article from somebody outside the club. Okay, fair enough.
However, Adam Pope has released the funniest thing. Oh, God.
Is that a real laugh? Is that a real laugh? I'm not convinced.
So apparently, Sheffield United. Now, I said last night it was so weird. I was in the pub with my brother. We're having a little bit of a laugh, a little bit of a joke. And I said, do you know what? It'd be funny, wouldn't it? It'd be funny us just slapping Sheffield United about. Because there's been something with Hamface. Again, it seems like any time he's in the division with Leeds, something happens. He just gets a little bit fraught. He gets a little bit angry. So there's something. He gets his verve back, his panache. He's back. It's not Chrissy Wilder of Watford. It's Chrissy Wilder when there was Basham there and Egan and all the lads. And he's got it back. He's got it. It just feels like when Leeds are in the division with Wilder and with Sheffield United anyway, it just stirs the pot, doesn't it? And it once again, it's happened. So Joel Peru, right, in an interview, apparently, he wasn't aware of any of this, what was going on. So obviously the context, everybody, is that Leeds United apparently, according to Sheffield United and according to the Sheffield Start, of which, look, I was a university student, the Sheffield Start were a highly reputable source in South Yorkshire, really reputable. And certain people who wrote for them were also highly reputable. And obviously these were, they were fed information from the club.
So there we have another little tidbit that we're just going to skim over. Danny Hall, who reported the context that he's talking about, the bid with Peru and Hamer and the 10 million, whether it happened or not, he's just credited Danny for how accurate he is with most stories. But now that's going to get completely dismissed because this Adam Pope character has given a different perspective. Okay, seems about right.
But apparently all of this was false. All of it was false. There was never a bid from Leeds United with Joel Peru in exchange for Gus Hamer. Now, we did say on the channel, this we were live with Brownie when it came out, and we were like, shut this, what? What, Leeds have offered 10 million quid and Peru? Like, the value of that would be potentially above 20 million quid anyway. Like, what? Like, why would that be the case? And
this is the bit which makes me laugh, because we're being laughed at because we've apparently released a story that, and made it up, that Leeds have bid 10 million quid plus Joel Peru for Gus Hamer. If they've not done that and we've made it up, it's absolutely genius. Absolutely genius, because if the club have fed Danny Hall a false story, so he gets it out there, which is apparently what Connor's saying, then we've clearly spoken to Gus about it to let him know, because you wouldn't fabricate that without putting the player in the loop. And what does it do? We reject it, and we say, and in the statement that, or the sort of kickback that we've put out there into the ether is, we're not interested in Joel Peru one bit. So that now makes Joel Peru think he's been offered out by Leeds, whether he is or he isn't, and so they don't want him as much as they want Hamer, and Sheffield United don't want him either. So that is housery of the grandest accord. I love it. I love it. Love every bit of it.
Wilder came out afterwards, I remember, and said it was just a silly nonsense bid, you know, Leeds, or he didn't quite mention Leeds, but he said there's been another bid done now, and but we want to keep Gus. I've had a conversation with Gus, and he's all right. He wants to be at the club, and he came on the other night against Barnsley and had 4 shots on target, and I'm happy with Gus. It's like, oh God, he's off again.
Seems a bit rattled. Seems a bit rattled to me, because this is in response to Leeds' derisory offer for Jayden Bogle that they were in last year of his contract. So that is the context that he's talking about as well. But also the fact that they offered us 13 million quid for what Wilder described as our best player. It's a joke. It's a joke of an offer, and it's disrespectful. And he talked about that in his presser. And he was like, you're trying to unsettle a player for a fee that you know you're never going to get him for, and it's poor. There's no morals, but it's Leeds we're talking about. We're not expecting any morals, and we're expecting the Leeds fans to absolutely spin it and make out like they've got one over on Sheffield United here. Basically, we've pulled wool over their eyes. We've upset one of their players potentially, and knocked them back when they've tried to bid for one of our best players. Low ballers again. I love it. I love the fact that the biggest selling club in Europe are making out like they're the most desired destination. Well, Gus Hamer didn't come. Callum O'Hare chose us. Harrison Burrows chose us. Raksaki chose us. But back to Connor.
Anyway, context applied. Peru had no idea about this, and he's come out and essentially said this, and apparently, or somebody's asked him about it, and it's been reported. But apparently, there's so many key bits in here. Apparently, Peru didn't know who Chris Wilder was. And apparently, this was all stirred up by Sheffield United to veer Leeds away from Gus Hamer. And it was false. It was all falsified rumours.
It was all falsified rumours. It was all false because Adam Pope says it was false. And it may have been. It may have been. That whole laughing at Chris Wilder is just a dig at his character, which is absolutely fine. This is a rivalry. This is not a personal dig back at Connor, to be fair. It's just, this video sort of encapsulates everything I think about the Leeds United fan base and their superiority complex, I suppose. So the fact that he's saying Peru doesn't know who Chris Wilder is, that's like a ha-ha-ha, he's done noting game. He was manager of the year, awarded by Alex Ferguson and Rick Jose when he got us promoted the first time. He's been widely touted for the freshness and uniqueness that he brought to the Premier League. If Joel Peru has been playing in this country for what, 3, 4, 5 years, don't know who he is, then he's not a football fan, is he? Because it's a weak dig, but that's all they've got. That's all they've got at the minute, unfortunately. So what's next?
So I'm not saying that the journalist who reported this was, giving false information. I'm not saying that he could have been, but I'm not saying that he is doing that.
So what are you saying?
What I am saying is this is hilarious how they've tried to cultivate a story to get Leeds off the trail when it comes to Gus Hamer.
Is it hilarious or is it clever? And did it work? What is going on here?
And apparently Wilder said if they sold him to Leeds, he'd walk.
There's no apparently about this one. Absolutely false. Fake news.
And apparently this was all because, I have to keep saying apparently, but this was all because he was fragile about Bogle and he was so upset about Leeds getting Jayden Bogle.
Jayden Bogle, as we know better than most, great right wing back, particularly going forwards, terrible right back in terms of defending.
And it's just making this fantastic pot of stew, of perfect Sheffield United versus Leeds United stew. You can just tell he viscerally hates Leeds United.
He's not alone. I am there with him.
That, as a Leeds fan, it genuinely melts my heart because we are one of the most hated clubs in the country. Everybody hates Leeds. It's the saying, everybody knows it. But when this guy is emitting the fan response on a professional level as well, when he won't say it, but he just can't stand us. He hates us. And that Bogle thing, oh my God, has irked him so much that their club and Wilder and the group behind it just started a rumour. That Leeds United had actually gone and offered Joel Peru and 10 million quid to get the services of Gus Hamer. Look, Leeds obviously put the £13 million bid in, but this rumour, and that was factual apparently. Rumour was all stirred up after the fact to get Leeds off the scent and to keep Gus in the club and to then talk about unity in his Barnsley post-press conference and all this sort of stuff. But
it worked. If that was the intent, it worked.
How fantastic is that, everybody? And it looks better on us anyway.
It's better for us. It's better for us that we didn't get Gus Hamer. We didn't want him. He's rubbish. No, we don't want Gus Hamer. It's better for us. Better for us they didn't come.
If we'd have actually done that, like, I remember coming out the transfer window and reviewing it and going, yeah, that's a bit weird. Like, why would we do that? Like, £13 million bid, still a little bit weird.
Weird, because you can't play with half a player. You can't just buy one half of a player and expect the same results.
But if we'd have gone, and that was an initial bid, and then we're thrown off the scent, whatever, by Sheffield United saying no, Wilder saying that he'd quit. Wilder said that he quit, handed his resignation if Hamer was sold, which is absolutely hilarious. Because I wonder if it was any other club, if he'd have spat his dummy out that much. But yeah, apparently there was a threat that he'd leave. Unbelievable. And obviously they wouldn't do that. He's in line for a new contract, isn't he? So they didn't want to lose Wilder. So they threw this scent out there. This mad exchange deal, which none of us could believe at the time. It was like, what? Really? Leeds? Really? And because everything... It was actually quite well done by Sheffield United.
I know.
Because think about it, we were all questioning everything because we weren't learning anything from the club. We were all speculative. Leeds still needed players. So it was that desperation thing. Have we actually done that? And it became believable because we're all chucking hypotheticals out there and scenarios and conspiracy theories about how Leeds were doing X, Y, and Z because we weren't getting it from the official sources. Leeds obviously adamantly denied it. And how brilliant is that? The sequence of events. Peru didn't know, and he doesn't know who Chris Wilder is. My God. Or he's aware of him now, but he asked at the time, who's Chris Wilder? Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant. And this was all stirred, not just to get Leeds off the scent when it came to Gus Hamer, but it was stirred because Chrissy Wilder is so bitter about Leeds.
I think Wilder's got him on strings by the looks of it. And look, I am replying to a Leeds fan channel, and I get the irony in this. In terms, I'm not going to say Connor's obsessed or Leeds fans are obsessed with what Sheffield United are doing. There's a big crossover here. We're local rivals, and obviously we've been in the running for the same type of players this transfer window. Sheffield United have widely been seen to have had a brilliant transfer window. Leeds have widely been seen to have a very disappointing transfer window. Connor is brilliant. He produces some fantastic content. I only really watch when they're not doing well, so I'm hoping to see a lot more of him this season, which I think I probably will. But Connor, listen, mate, if you want to come on the Ramble or you want me on One Leeds fan channel to show your 30-odd thousand subscribers what the Blades are all about, then I'm more than happy to join you, pal. But Leeds fans, they never change. So delusional. Absolutely unreal. But nobody comes for the king and gets away with it. Chrissy Wilder, no, it's a no-go area. I don't normally do this. I have huge respect for Connor and his channel, One Leeds fan channel. Go and subscribe to him because, as I say, there may well be a little bit of crossover coming between the two channels shortly after this. Who knows? Get your comments in down below. What do you think? If you're a Leeds fan watching this, let me know how you're the biggest club in Yorkshire and blah, blah, blah. And Man United are your biggest rivals rather than Huddersfield, who are really your rivals. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know how Donto's doing, if he still wants to leave. I know he signed a new contract with no release clause, which means he's 100% dedicated to the club. So, yeah. How's Ethan Ampadu? One of the best midfielders in Championship, apparently. All right, then. All right. Joe Rodon, brilliant signing. And Jayden Bogle at right back. Masterstroke. So for now, come on you red and white wizards. of the Blade.
Whatever happens, they've given a brilliant account of themselves. As Sadie cuts inside, goes to ground. Referee, what's he going to do? He points. Does he point to the spots? I think he has. He pointed to the spots. It's a Portsmouth penalty. For 12 years, Lang's already scored once. Can he score again? Use Benny Can!